Apple's greatest comeback, from near bankruptcy to $3 trillion. It's 1997. Apple, the company that once defined innovation in the tech industry, is on the brink of disaster. The stock is plummeting. Sales are at an all-time low. Apple's product lineup is a mess, confusing, outdated, and far from what the market needs. Competitors like Microsoft and Dell are dominating, and Apple is bleeding money. Analysts predict Apple will declare bankruptcy within months. The media labels it a doomed company. But then, something unexpected happens, a moment that changes not only Apple's future, but the future of technology as we know it. Steve Jobs, the man who co-founded Apple in a garage in 1976, but was forced out in 1985, returns. His mission? To save the company he helped create. But how do you bring a company back from the dead? How did Apple not only survive, but rise to become the world's first $3 trillion company? This is the story of history's greatest corporate comeback. Apple wasn't always in trouble. In the 1980s, it was a pioneer in personal computing. The Apple II was a massive success, and the original Macintosh introduced the world to graphical interfaces. But as the years went by, the company started to falter. After Steve Jobs was pushed out of Apple in 1985 due to internal conflicts, the company lost its visionary leadership. A series of CEOs came and went, none of whom could replicate Jobs' ability to create products that captured the imagination of consumers. Apple released uninspired products like the Newton, which flopped, and their product line became cluttered and unfocused. By the mid-90s, Apple was struggling to compete with the rise of Microsoft and Windows-powered PCs. The company's market share dwindled and losses piled up. The dream of Apple revolutionizing technology seemed over. In 1997, Apple made a desperate move. It acquired Next, the software company Steve Jobs had founded after leaving Apple for $429 million. But this wasn't just about the technology, it was a way to bring Jobs back into the fold. At first, Jobs returned as an advisor, but it wasn't long before he was named interim CEO. His first steps were ruthless, but necessary. Jobs immediately slashed Apple's bloated product lineup, canceling 70% of existing projects. He famously simplified Apple's offerings into just 4 categories: consumer and professional, desktop, and portable. This focus on simplicity and clarity became a cornerstone of Apple's resurgence. Jobs also made a bold and controversial decision, partnering with Microsoft. At the 1997 Macworld Expo, Jobs announced that Microsoft would invest $150 million in Apple and continue developing Microsoft Office for Mac. The audience booed, but Jobs understood something critical. Apple needed cash and stability, and this deal gave it both. With the company stabilized, Jobs turned his attention to what he did best, creating revolutionary products. In 1998, Apple launched the iMac. Unlike anything else on the market, the iMac was colorful, sleek, and user-friendly. It wasn't just a computer, it was a statement. The iMac was a massive hit, bringing Apple back into the spotlight and restoring consumer confidence in the brand. But this was just the beginning. Jobs had bigger plans. In 2001, Apple introduced the iPod, a portable music player that could hold 1,000 songs in your pocket. This wasn't just a cool gadget. It completely changed how people listened to music. The combination of the iPod and iTunes Store revolutionized the music industry, cementing Apple's place as an innovator. Then came the iPhone. In 2007, Steve Jobs took the stage and introduced a device that was 3 things in one: a phone, an iPod, and an internet communicator. But it was more than that. It was the beginning of the smartphone era. The iPhone wasn't just a hit, it was a cultural phenomenon. Over the years, it became the cornerstone of Apple's business, generating billions in revenue and setting the standard for mobile devices. Jobs' relentless focus on design, user experience, and innovation transformed Apple into a brand that people didn't just use, they loved. When Steve Jobs passed away in 2011, many wondered if Apple could maintain its success without him. But his legacy lived on. Under Tim Cook's leadership, Apple continued to innovate, launching products like the Apple Watch, AirPods, and expanding its ecosystem with services like Apple Music and iCloud. In 2018, Apple became the first company in history to reach a $1 trillion valuation. By 2023, it had tripled that, becoming the first $3 trillion company. So how did Apple go from the brink of bankruptcy to the most valuable company in the world? The answer lies in Steve Jobs' vision. He turned failure into an opportunity, focused on simplicity, and created products that didn't just work. They changed the way we live. Apple's story is a reminder that even in the darkest moments, a bold vision and a willingness to take risks can lead to extraordinary success.